The World Cup final ended with a man being grabbed by the throat. Not tackled, not shoved. Grabbed by the neck and thrown to the ground by a player from the team that just lost, aimed at a player from the team that just won. The trophy had not even been lifted yet. The confetti was not in the air. And the reigning champions of the world, the defending kings, Lionel Messi's Argentina, chose to end their reign not with a handshake, but with a brawl. So let me ask the only question worth asking after 120 of the ugliest minutes this tournament produced. What the hell happened at the World Cup final? Because if you tuned in expecting a coronation, expecting Messi to ride off into the sunset with a second star, expecting a classic, you got something else entirely. You got a masterclass from one team and a meltdown from the other. You got Spain playing football and Argentina playing something that was not football. And by the end, one very old idea was proven right in front of 80,000 people and a booing crowd that included the President of the United States. Football won. Actually, literally, football won. I will show you exactly how. And before we even get to the football, know this. FIFA had already courted a scandal before kickoff, announcing that for the first time in World Cup final history, there would be a full Super Bowl-style halftime show, a decision that would go on to enrage half the planet. Hold that thought because it deserves its own reckoning and we will get to it. But first, the actual reason 80,000 people were in the building. The actual football. Or the actual football that Spain played anyway. Look at the stat sheet because it might be the most one-sided line I have ever seen from a World Cup final. Spain, 20 shots, 12 of them on target, 1.9 expected goals. 65% of the ball, 76% field tilt, meaning 3/4 of the meaningful attacking action happened in Argentina's half. Argentina, 2 shots, 0 on target, 0, an expected goals figure of 0.2, which is a mathematician's polite way of saying they did nothing. The defending world champions in the final did not force Spain's keeper into a single save, not one. Meanwhile, Emiliano Martinez, Argentina's brilliant goalkeeper, made 11 saves keeping his team alive. Read those two numbers back to back. Argentina, 0 shots on target. Their own keeper, 11 saves. That's not a game. That's a siege with a scoreboard attached. So how does a team get outplayed that badly and stay in it until the 106th minute? Simple. You stop trying to play and you start trying to stop the other team from playing, by any means available. Let me read you the roll call, because Argentina's game plan wasn't tactical, it was industrial. 14th minute, Alexis Mac Allister flies into Dani Olmo with a late, two-footed, reckless challenge that leaves the Spaniard in a heap. No card. A few minutes later, Nicolas Tagliafico tries to bring down teenage superstar Lamine Yamal in what one refereeing analyst charitably called deliberate and clumsy, dragging him, clipping his heels, raking his studs down his calf, basically fouling him 4 different ways in one motion. No card. Lisandro Martinez 2-foots Mikel Oyarzabal from behind. Then off the bench comes Leandro Paredes, who took one look at the first half foul count and apparently decided it wasn't nasty enough, elbowing Rodri in the back and sparking a melee. Spain's Aymeric Laporte had actually called this before kickoff, warning that Argentina are a team that leave a lot of little messages with their challenges. He wasn't guessing. He'd seen the tournament, and none of this was new. This is exactly how Argentina bullied their way past England in the semi-final, a game that was arguably nastier than the final. They didn't outplay England. They prodded, poked, and provoked them. Enzo Fernandez left one on Elliot Anderson's head early. Paredes caught Jude Bellingham's ankle. Christian Romero goaded England players in their faces after Argentina scored, and their own unused substitute Valentin Barco ran across the pitch, taunting opponents so brazenly that Bellingham slapped him across the back of the head for it. That's the blueprint. Get under your skin, drag you down to their level, and hope you crack first. It worked on England. Spain had watched the tape. And here's the thing this channel has been saying for weeks. The referees kept letting Argentina get away with it. This whole tournament, there's been a pattern of officials swallowing the whistle when Argentina crossed the line, and in the final, it happened again. Slovenia's Slavko Vincic went soft early, trying to keep 22 men on the pitch, and all it did was let Argentina rack up fouls that anywhere else are yellow cards. The first booking didn't come until the 41st minute. In a game that violent. So yes, for this entire run, the whistle has bent Argentina's way, and plenty of people, fairly, have wondered out loud whether FIFA's most marketable circus act was being protected. But here's where Spain did something no conspiracy theory could survive. They made the refereeing irrelevant. You cannot rig a game you cannot get the ball in. Spain simply refused to engage with the shoving and the whining and the theatrics. They put Argentina on a passing carousel, spun it for 2 hours, and let the fouls bounce off them. It was the calmest possible answer to the ugliest possible question. Whatever help Argentina might have hoped for from the men in the middle, it didn't matter, because they never had the ball long enough to be helped. Football won. Then Argentina did Argentina's favorite thing. They self-destructed. Enzo Fernandez, already living dangerously, got booked for dissent after sarcastically applauding the referee, and then, in stoppage time at the end of normal play, with the game crawling toward penalties, he lunged studs down through Spain's teenage defender Pau Cubarsí and launched the poor kid into the sky. Second yellow. Red card. Off. It was, in the words of basically everyone watching, brainless. Argentina, already losing the game in every measurable way, chose to lose a player too, and had to defend the entire 30 minutes of extra time with 10 men. Enzo Fernandez became the third Argentine ever sent off in a World Cup final. Let that sink in, the third. It's practically a tradition. And with the extra man, Spain finally cracked it. First, they thought they had done it earlier, a goal chalked off for a soft foul on Otamendi, the one time all night a whistle went Argentina's way, but the breakthrough only delayed it. By the end of the first period of extra time, Spain had piled up 19 shots to Argentina's 0. The definition of a team knocking and knocking on a door that refused to open, and you could feel the frustration creeping in. Even the ice-cool 19-year-old Yamal got visibly irritated after one too many cynical shoves. Penalties loomed, which would have been a cruel joke on the team that had 65% of the ball and a dozen shots on target. And then, mercifully, the door gave. 106th minute. Pedro Porro, quietly one of the players of the knockout rounds, floated a deep cross to Nico Williams at the back post. Williams arched his neck to nod it back across, and substitute Ferran Torres lashed it past Martinez's despairing dive. 1-0 on Spain's 20th shot. The dam broke, and it broke on the shoulders of a team that had earned it 100 times over. Now let me be fair, because you deserve the other side, and one man on that pitch deserves it more than anyone: Messi. Understand this clearly. Whatever his teammates became on Sunday night, Lionel Messi was not part of it. He had his quietest game of the tournament. One touch in the first 15 minutes, and that was from the kickoff, anonymous, marshaled, running the far side of the pitch, like a memory nobody could quite reach. There was exactly one flicker. Right after Enzo's red card, Messi sprang to life, dug deep into his bottomless well of genius, and used it to tell on Marc Cucurella for covering his mouth while talking to him, turning to the referee with his hand raised like a kid asking the teacher to punish the classmate who whispered something mean. The referee was not moved. It was, and I say this with love for the greatest of all time, one of the strangest sights of the tournament. The divine number 10 reduced to a playground tattletale. And when it was over, he didn't throw a punch or grab a throat. He sank to the grass, stood alone, and broke down in tears. Losing a final at 39, in what is almost certainly his last World Cup, a tournament he only reached because he dragged a limited team there on his back, that takes nothing from him. His greatness was carved in stone in Qatar 4 years ago and cannot be reviewed. Even the German pundit Thomas Hitzelsperger, who tore into Argentina's players as thugs with no sense for the beautiful game, went out of his way to call Messi a genius. The tragedy of this final is that the greatest player who ever lived spent his goodbye surrounded by teammates determined to make the night about the ugliest version of themselves. And Argentina, to their credit, are not just a dirty team, and it would be lazy to pretend otherwise. This is a genuinely bonded group, players who vacation together, who play with a frantic, almost religious, patriotic intensity, who won a World Cup in 2022 and Copa Americas in 2021 and 2024. On the back of exactly that unity, their fans turned entire American cities into oceans of blue and white and gave this tournament its electricity. As the legend Gabriel Batistuta put it, this team did exactly what any fan would ask for, playing with heart. Even Scaloni, their coach, said the right words afterward. We've been great in victory, and we need to be great in defeat. Beautiful sentiment. Genuinely. There's just one problem. His players did the exact opposite, and the whole world watched. Because when the whistle went, Argentina didn't lose with grace. They lost their minds. As Spain celebrated, Nahuel Molina appeared to swing an arm at Rodri as he ran past. Rodri confronted him, Molina squared up, and it detonated. Eric Garcia stepped in to defend his teammate, and Paredes, of course it was Paredes, grabbed Garcia by the throat and shoved him to the ground, then went after Gavi, then went after Thiago Almada, yanking him down by his bib, while Scaloni sprinted around the pitch trying to pull his own players off Spanish ones. Cameras caught Nicolas Otamendi telling Rodri that Spain's players had been crying all week and should talk less. This is the reigning world champions. This is how they said goodbye to the crown. And then came the part that, honestly, was worse than the punches. When Spain climbed the podium to be recognized as champions of the world, after Spain had extended a guard of honor to them, remember, Argentina turned their backs, physically turned away and huddled with their own fans. And when Rodri collected the golden ball as the best player of the entire tournament, the Argentine end drowned it out with chants for Messi. You lost the game. You lost your composure. You lost a player. And then you tried to steal the loser's dignity by refusing to acknowledge the winners. Toni Kroos watched all of it and wrote 3 words that became the epitaph of the night. Football won. Not Argentina's football, football itself. So here's the verdict, and I'm going to take it seriously because Spain earned that much. This was not a thrilling final. It was a strangling, and Spain were the ones with their hands around the game. But look at what they actually did across this tournament, not just this night. They conceded 1 goal. 1. In 9 matches. They dismantled France, the pre-tournament favorites, Mbappe and all, 2-0 in a game far more brutal than the scoreline. They are now European and world champions at once, riding a 38-game unbeaten run that's the longest in the history of international football. They didn't lose a single match all summer and refused to go. That's not luck. That's not a soft draw. That's not a referee. That's a team so good, so calm, so relentlessly, surgically competent that no amount of shoving, diving, whining, or throat grabbing could touch them. Argentina came all this way on provocation and late-game desperation, and the whisper that someone upstairs wanted them to win. And in the one game where it counted most, they ran into a team that simply took the ball, kept it, and never gave the chaos an inch to breathe. The mask came off. The world saw exactly what this Argentina side was underneath the confetti of 2022. And football, the actual, beautiful, keep the ball, keep your head game, won anyway. Which brings us back to the one villain that didn't wear a jersey. Remember the halftime show I told you to hold on to? Here's the reckoning. For the first time in the entire history of the World Cup final, FIFA decided the game itself wasn't the show and bolted a Super Bowl-style spectacle onto the biggest match on Earth, with Madonna riding in on a buggy, driven by Ronaldo and Ronaldinho, BTS, Shakira, Justin Bieber, Burna Boy, The Muppets, an orchestra, and Coldplay drowning the whole thing in the word love. As a show? Slick, fun, well-produced, fine. As a decision? A disgrace. Because the laws of the game, written by IFAB, say the halftime break should not exceed 15 minutes. This one ran 27 minutes and 23 seconds, nearly double. One fan summed up the internet's mood with a Godfather meme. Look how they massacred my beautiful game. And this wasn't just bad taste, it was a competitive integrity problem. FIFA took two teams who'd just battled through 45 minutes of a World Cup final and sat them in the tunnel for almost half an hour going cold, muscles stiffening, rhythm dying, so a pop concert could happen on the grass. All because a bigger show meant bigger sponsorship money. When your own halftime entertainment is generating more headlines than your final, you've forgotten what people showed up for. And it wasn't even the most awkward thing off the ball. Donald Trump was booed loudly when he walked out for the trophy presentation alongside Gianni Infantino. Christian Romero refused to shake his hand during the medals, and when Spain went to lift the trophy, Trump lingered at the edge of the celebration to get in the photo, while Infantino visibly tried to usher him aside. A president booed, a defender snubbing him, FIFA's own boss shooing him out of frame, a circus wrapped around a fight wrapped around a concert. FIFA wanted spectacle. They got it, just not the kind that earns anyone's trust. Which moment told you the whole story? 0 shots on target, the throat grab, or turning their backs on the champions? Tell me below, and if you followed this whole ride with me, the full tournament retrospective drops next. Every villain, every underdog, every whistle. This one's been the wildest World Cup of our lives. Let's put a bow on it together.